All right, let's go to headline number 5. According to CSP magazine, QuikTrip is opening a non-gasoline convenience store with Amazon's no checkout, just walk out technology in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa customers can enjoy QuikTrip snacks, including the Nitro Coffee Station with freshly brewed coffee, as well as its complete menu of grab-and-go items like fresh donuts, salads, wraps, and QuikTrip's pizza by the slice. For perspective, QuikTrip, that's QuikTrip with a Q, is number 10 on the QSP's top 200 convenience store chains and has over 900 stores with an estimated annual volume of $11 billion per year, according to Winsight. Abhinav, what do you think of this decision by QuikTrip to sleep with the enemy?
I think it's a good one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. So when Amazon started AWS, it all started similarly. They had their own infrastructure of computers. They built their own services. Then they decided, oh, it's a good idea to sell it to others. Let's see if others buy it. And if they buy it, and now we have a huge AWS business on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's in the same vein from Amazon's perspective. Mm-hmm. From QuikTrip's perspective, they are not going to build this technology. They have to sort of, if they want it, they will have to buy it from somewhere. Amazon has the best technology at the moment. And that's the path that they are going down. I think QuikTrip is a convenience store. They want convenience, and this provides convenience to their customers. So I think it's a good partnership. Now, going back to the analogy that I was making earlier around AWS, as the evolution of AWS has happened, a lot of retailers have stopped using AWS and have moved to Google Cloud, because they feel even though the two businesses are separate, the profit that they are making on AWS is subsidizing the retail business, which is their competition. Mm-hmm. Now, this may play out in the same way in the future, but as of now, there are limited set of options. And the quality of technology that Amazon has is way, way far ahead than anyone else has got it. Walmart, I think, is trying to build it, but they are nowhere even close. And so if this is the only play that you have, then that's the one you've got to take, and you have to think customer first. And if you think customer first, you have to provide more convenience. You have an option. Why not?
Interesting. So you like the move because you think QuikTrip's thinking customer first, that this is a real threat or a real new way to shop convenience stores. We have to understand it and make sense of it. So we're going to partner with Amazon. That's your basic point. Okay.
Yeah.
David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to end on a little kumbaya. I actually really like it too, for all of the reasons that Abhinav just said. The other thing that I think is interesting in this is, as you noticed in the announcement, it's one of their non-gas locations.
Right.
So I actually think this speaks to a future strategy around how are they going to think about the transition to electric vehicles and all of their gas locations, and actually convert them into true convenience stores. And so in some ways, to me, this is a customer first pilot on what could be the strategy to eliminate gas stations long term.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I don't like it. I don't think that the checkout free technology race is happening that quickly, that you need to saddle up with Amazon, that you need to put the saddle on the horse of Amazon right now. I don't, because there's plenty of players in the marketplace that are showing an ability to do what Amazon is doing, and waiting another year or 2 years to take a partnership with them, I don't think really disadvantages you that much. But you start getting in bed with Amazon and building these stores, first in Tulsa, and then they said they're going to build more of them throughout the region. Like, if you do that with Amazon, that's going to put you that's kind of where back in the e-commerce mousetrap that Toys R Us and Target and everybody else fell into back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I don't know, but I mean, what I take away from it is I think the threat is real. Number one, that QuikTrip thinks the threat of checkout free retail as a shopping experience is real. The second thing is probably that the convenience store players in the space for checkout free technology are probably not ready for prime time yet. I think that's an important point here that Abhinav's bringing up too. And you have to remember, like Trigo, who we've spotlighted on the show, has deliberately tried to stay away from the convenience store market because they believe in scaling to grocery and proving that out. But we've seen 3,000 store checkout free spaces from them that work too. Exactly. So like the technology can't be that far away with somebody else. So I don't know. I just I just don't like it for those reasons.
I think that's what's puzzling to me here is that these are all new stores that they're going to have to build with Amazon. Amazon's not retrofitting spaces yet. And I think that's where when you're QuikTrip, the size of QuikTrip, like we talked about, and you can't retrofit yet any of your old stores, you're only going to be able to build these new stores. And I think David's bringing up a good point about like the future of what the convenience store and gas station looks like.
100%.
I do think though, to that point, there's some advantages of bringing Amazon in. If there's something we don't know, like what do we not know about this relationship that's happening where you're starting to think about if Amazon does want to build the future gas station, you know, is this a player that gives them suddenly access throughout the middle of the country, like all along 35 that goes, you know, north to south, they suddenly have access to all of those gas stations with QuikTrip. Could be a play here that we just don't have visibility to.
The other point I would make
that could be a huge assortment play. That could be an access play. I agree with you on that one. And
the tentacles of this get really interesting if you start thinking about it. The other point I would make too that I think is really important here is it shows you that Amazon's tech is really licensable at this point.
Exactly. Like
QuikTrip, Hudson News, and the airports, all the airport stores, the sporting events, like they've got that thing dialed in now. If people are signing up to it to the degree that they are. Abhinav.
Yeah, my question, this is a question, not an answer here. Back to you guys. Like, what's the competitive threat that you think exists from Amazon for them? Like by licensing this technology, they're only licensing the technology. They're not licensing anything else.
Well, I think it's the same way. I mean, you know, I don't think it's that dissimilar than what they did with e-commerce, you know, like they built everyone else's e-commerce websites that gave them the revenue to build theirs better and do it better over time. They kept the best technology for themselves in theory, relative to what they were giving to their provider, to who they were providing it to. It's the same thing here with convenience store retailing. Ultimately, and at the end of the day, they could learn to do the convenience store business. They have a competitive threat in Amazon Go that's growing fairly rapidly. You know, that's kind of my thought there, Abhinav. What do you think, though?
My thought is, I mean, this is like AWS. They are the point that you make that this may be funding some other parts of their business from a profit perspective. That I can totally.
100%.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
If that's the only angle, then that's fine. But in terms of licensing the technology, yes, they will teach them something, but they will make the technology better for them and for QuikTrip as well as for themselves. And both sides are going to benefit as the technology evolves. It's not like they are using different services from that perspective. So yeah.
I would buy that if they weren't doing Amazon Go. Like if they're like, we're just licensing this technology, we have no interest in a physical store play, I would buy that argument. But David, last word here, and then we'll get to the lightning round.
I think that was spoken like a true Amazon alum.
And by that, you mean what Abhinav said, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.